Cool, clear. Well, safety, right? Company. Okay. Principle number 5. Some of you have been here before. I think these principles are critical to the way you behave. I think they'll be part of Motivational Monday because I think they're interesting. They tried and tested rules from many dead people, and some of them still alive, and so they're worth noting. These principles are our commandments. Stick to these principles or rules, we're going to eliminate a lot of errors. And that's all it is, right? Because if we can make less mistakes, we can be more successful, we can have less pain, we can have more fun. And so these principles really matter. I have been very happy lately that a lot of people are following these principles and talking about it. Like the first one, which is, I think it's bad news can't wait, good news can. I've had a lot of people come to me and say, I've got to tell you this is what's happening. I'm like, great, awesome. That's exactly what we have to do. And so we don't just sit on these Mondays to try and talk about interesting things. I think you have to live these ideas. I have seen a lot more people living them, and I appreciate that. But Brendan didn't invent these. These are invented by people way smarter and cleverer and serious. So today's principle is the 20-mile march. I think the concept or the idea behind it is if you want to originally get across America, you have to wake up every day and you've got to do 20 miles. If you can do that every day consistently, regardless of the weather, regardless of anything else, you will get to your destination, crossing from one coast to the other. That's where the 20-mile march name came. But what it really means is that to get anywhere in life successfully, you have to be consistent. You can't be a rock star one day and then the next day you're sleeping. Right? And then you have a run of 3 weeks where you're exceptional and you're on it and you're doing everything and then you die. Because something gets in your way, because the weather's bad, because you had a bad time. And so the principle behind this is one that I think is very simple, but that consistency matters way more than individual brilliance or one-off hits.
Two things that stood out for me is building a successful company, building a successful career for yourselves. Trust is everything. And I think what aligns with the race versus the marathon and the consistency factor. Consistency breeds trust, right? If you're amazing one day and you're below average the next, and that's a consistent pattern, you're not going to be developing much trust with the people around you and your clients specifically. So we always say, life is a marathon, not a race, because essentially you want to find a middle ground that's sustainable, that's not over the top amazing, but also not below average either, because that's always a good metric. And that you can sustain what you do, because by repeating and being able to sustain a level that is achievable, that is sustainable, you're going to develop way more trust with people. And so you're going to get to your end goal much quicker than the sprint and then the collapse, sprint, collapse, sprint, collapse. So that's a very, very big one. And I think all of us in our endeavor to try and over-deliver, sometimes we exceed that and then we can't sustain it. And all that creates is a disappointment.